Hi, thanks for joining me for this week's quick business tip. We are in our third session of the spooky season series, and today we are going to talk to you if you are feeling more like a zombie than a CEO lately. We are going to talk about throwing all away, that hustle till you drop mentality, that wearing busy as a badge, and we are going to brew up some self-care spells to banish all of the negative and keep your sanity intact. The honest truth is that from time to time, running a business can start to feel like you're actually living in a haunted house where you're always afraid of what's going to be around the next corner or popping out of the closet. This can be everything from demanding clients, an inbox that is constantly overflowing, and a never-ending to-do list that keeps growing like Jack's Beanstalk. And when you are constantly living in this flight or fight mode, it's really easy for burnout, as much as I hate how much that word is overused, but it's really easy for that feeling of just dread and overwhelm to start creeping in to your everyday life. This can feel like you're completely exhausted, but too wired to sleep. You start to resent your business that you used to absolutely love and these clients that you set out to serve and make an impact for. And if you're anything like me, you start to feel a little scattered, forgetting things, and all those balls that you've been juggling start falling to the floor. Now, last year, about this time, I had a huge client project that got approved at the exact same time that I was getting ready to move into a new build. So not only was I working really long hours in my job to deliver an amazing product for my client, but I was also working late into the night, hanging ceiling fans, replacing faucets, packing, doing all of the things that come with feeling comfortable in your new home. And while both things were positive and amazing, having them come together and the fact that I did not take care of myself led to me essentially running on caffeine and adrenaline. When I finally got to a place where I felt like I could breathe, I got the worst sinus infection I've ever had. And I get sinus infections about once a year. So when I say it's the worst, it was like really bad. Now, I know because this isn't the first time I've made this mistake that when I overwork and stress and don't set boundaries and don't take care of myself and don't take the rest that I need, I typically end up getting sick because my body finally says enough. If you can't find time to stop on your own, we're going to make you stop permanently. And so it took me out for a lot longer than it should have. And I try, like every time when it happens, to learn to not only set, but also keep boundaries in place. So, keeping with our spooky theme this month, what I've done is I've put together a little self-care spell book. And I have 6 fantastic spells that are going to remove the busy, the overwhelm, the exhaustion, and replace it with the joy and love and excitement that we all used to feel in our business. And maybe we need a little more of today. So, the first thing that we want to get rid of is that witching hour overload. the way that we do this is to set boundaries and to not only set them, but to keep them. You need to be making your personal time sacred. And that can mean different things for different people depending on where you are in your business and what your priorities are for this season of your life. Now, for me, this means no emails after 5 o'clock. There's a lot of days it means no emails after 4 o'clock. I also don't work on the weekends, but I know a lot of perfectly healthy, work life aligned people that do work on the weekends. There's nothing innately wrong about working on the weekends. You just need to make sure that you're conscious of it and that you're doing it for the right reasons. So, whatever you need to do for your time blocking, whether it's putting up garlic to ward off the bad spirits or simply getting a little more strict with your time blocking, let's get rid of the witching hour workload and really focus on spending our time wisely and taking the necessary time to fill up our own cup and rest. Now, the second spell that I have for your self-care is the zombie scrolling spell, or the no zombie scrolling spell, I guess. Put your phone down. Yes, I am a huge advocate of social media. I feel like you absolutely need to not only be posting, but engaging on social media every single workday. I also have a 20-minute a day checklist that you can go through so that you only having to spend 20 to 30 minutes a day on social media. And if you are limiting your time and you're very intentional about those 20 to 30 minutes, then you don't get stuck in this zombie scroll that we have all fallen victim to. It also works really well for a lot of people to just say, I'm not looking either at my phone at all, or I'm not looking at social media after dinner. Whatever you need to do, whatever spell you need to cast to stop that scroll, it's going to make you feel so much better. The third spell is, stealing it a little bit from Snow White here. You guys remember the bad witch that stood in front of the mirror, that mirror, mirror on the wall. How often are we not actually making that same chant, but really doing the same thing that bad witch was doing when she stood in front of that mirror multiple times a day and wanted to be the most beautiful person in the land? We are constantly comparing ourselves to others, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. We do it probably a lot more than we're aware. And the last couple weeks, I was challenged to, it wasn't specifically about comparison, it was a little bit more about judgment, but I feel like they're kind of two sides of the same coin where I became much, much more conscious of times when I was either in judgment or comparison of someone. And it's typically judging myself because I'm comparing myself to them. Now, this can happen. A lot of times social media gets blamed for it. And certainly, if we are going through that zombie scroll on a daily basis, it's going to happen a lot more on social media. But this can happen when you're sitting in line at the school waiting to pick your kids up and you're comparing your car to the one next to you. It can happen when you're at the gym, whether you're comparing your body to somebody else or whether you're comparing how much weight you're doing as opposed to the person next to you. Maybe you're comparing yourself to how fast the person on the treadmill next to you is walking or running, or how long they've been on the treadmill. Or there's lots of different ways where you can easily slip into this comparison trap. So, a fun way to think about it is every time you find yourself in comparison, remember the bad witch standing in front of the mirror and sort of picture yourself doing that, whether it's mirror, mirror on the wall, who has the best car in the pickup line? Nobody wants to be that person. And so if you sort of play that game with your brain, it can be easier to pull yourself out of that because you are a unicorn. You are not a cookie cutter. We do not need more of the same people in this world. We simply need you to be you. The fourth self-care spell that I have is the productivity potion. Now, we started with, that busyness of the witching hour over workload, but part of banishing the busyness is by being more productive because a lot of times we have things that we know we need to do, but they feel like these giant, scary mountains. And if we simply break the mountains down into smaller little molehills or tasks, they become much more manageable steps. And it turns a 2-week project into 10 days of 1 hour projects. So it's much easier to break down. And then I am a big proponent of celebrating every little win along the way. So if you break down this huge project into 10 simple steps, you celebrate every single step along the way. And it makes it so much easier to get to the next step. The fifth tip that I have for you today is the recharge ritual. Now, I'm using the word ritual a little bit because it works nicely for our spooky series, but also because daily rituals are so incredibly powerful. I like to wake up, breathe, meditate, vision cast, then go to the gym, then check my phone. What text messages have come in? What emails have come in? It just makes my day so much nicer when I walk into it. And I like to have a shutdown ritual at the end of every day. I like to do some restorative yoga or go for a walk in nature or, just spend time with my boyfriend. Whatever makes you feel more recharged, uh, that is what you need to be making part of every single day. Because when you take time for that, you will have more energy for everything else that you want to fit into your life. Now, the last magic spell that I have for you is the most powerful one of all. It is the magic word no. Whether you have clients that don't respect your boundaries, opportunities that while they are amazing, aren't aligning with your goals right now, or even friends that you've had for a really long time that are more of a drain on your energy than pouring into your soul, picture yourself with a magic wand, and instead of the words abracadabra, use the magic word no. The more that you say no to those energy sucking tasks and clients and opportunities, the more power you will bring back into your own life, the more energy you will have for the clients that are amazing, for the opportunities that are perfect for you right now, and for the friends, and the family that you love spending time with. As we wrap up spooky season in the next couple weeks and head into the holidays, it is super important to remember that taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is the most essential thing that you can do to make sure that you have the energy to spend on not only the business that you love, but also the people that you love. Now, one easy action that you can take today is to grab your magic wand, find one thing that has been draining your energy, that one thing that you dread every time it comes knocking on the door, and just say no to it. I want to wish you guys a happy Halloween. Please come back. We have 2 more episodes in our spooky season before the end of October. I'm Jennifer with Limitless Impact Agency.